FooRay and Chamba, the two hosts. If I may, I'm thinking that you chose the best thing. If you like them nerd shows and all of these movies. What up, Chap Chat? This is Chap Chat.
What up, Chipper Chaps? This is Chipper Chap Chat, episode 157. Accidental ding. I am FooRay.
I'm Chamba.
We're going to talk about some nerdy stuff. So, here's the situation.
Yep.
We recorded this episode already.
We sure did.
Yesterday. We recorded this episode for an hour and 40 minutes.
No, actually, it was an hour and 56 minutes.
An hour and 56 minutes.
Unedited, mind you.
Unedited, right. And it sounded like that episode was going to be edited the shit out of. I don't think that's happening
Nope.
anymore.
I'm sorry. I'll have images. I will have images. But I was planning some things, and I am not gonna. No, I am so annoyed.
Basically, we recorded for damn near 2 hours, and none of the audio picked up
for some stupid
nobody
reason.
Knows why. We recorded something else like 15, 20 minutes before
That's
that.
That's the part that I don't understand. I've already got that episode lined up. At this point, you've already seen it.
Right.
So trust me, I am so confused by the situation and annoyed.
And I think had it been like we're talking about an episode or something, then who gives a shit?
Yeah.
But this was one where we came up with a premise.
Yes.
We were doing math and shit.
We were doing math. We were looking up directors and things.
Oh my goodness.
1,000 million annoyed I am.
1,000 million annoyed.
1,000 million. All right.
So basically, the original concept and premise was we've been gifted a magical $1,000 million,
which in proper
which is
math
a billion.
Is a billion, which we found out yesterday.
Because I said I randomly threw out we get $1 billion to split between 10 movies, and Jeff said, "What? How many millions are in a billion?"
Yeah.
And I was so excited to have that in my search history that we immediately looked it up, and it just says big as shit, 1,000 million.
To be fair, it never really registered in my head how much millions were in a billion.
Yeah, I don't think I ever thought of it.
Yeah, so now that's my thing. I'm gonna say 1,000 million all the time now, because that makes more sense in my head, and I'm sure to more people as well when you say a billion.
Right. Right. I'll never think of a billion the same way.
It's 1,000 million.
So yeah, that was the original premise. We had like 30 movies, and we had to knock it down till we get 10 films to split this $1 billion between. We did that.
We did that
about 2 hours.
Also, it's not like we just have this funding and we want to make movies. We took original films from the past, and we're going to make sequels.
Not just rebooting.
Not a reboot.
Starting over, but something properly sequelized from its original.
Because a lot didn't make the list because they would have been better as a reboot.
For example, do you have any of
like Guyver?
Like Guyver.
I don't want a Guyver. Like Guyver, I'd love to see a new one these days. I don't want to see a sequel to it. It'd be funny.
Would make more sense.
It would make It would just make so much more sense to do a reboot of that. So we cut it down to a list of 10. We came up with the possible stars, the directors even, and we split. We divvied up the budget.
It was, even to me, as someone who was participating, to me it was one of our most interesting episodes.
Absolutely.
Because of that.
And that's why I'm so annoyed. I'm so annoyed.
To try and make this worth doing a second time, we've challenged ourselves not just to recite to you the 10 that we came up with,
which we will,
but to introduce at least 10 more options that we can test against these 10 we've already decided on.
Yeah. These are the 10 that we think, this is it.
In no particular order, let's pitch them the 10 movies that we decided on.
Do you want to pitch it? Do you want to... So no order, or the order of the budget?
No
order works either way.
Yeah, no order works. You can just read it down the line.
Big Trouble Little China sequel. Directed by... Go.
Makes sense to me to do it as a sequel. keep as many of the people
Yeah.
as you can involved, legacy characters.
Yeah. Or I had another idea where it's like, it's a sequel, but we're just recasting it. Because that's something that
Right.
happens. Like, it takes place shortly after the first film. We cast it to appropriate what they look like. And they exist. We were saying, like, Wyatt Russell as Kurt Russell. We were getting that actor for Liu Kang as Wang Chi.
Right.
And that would have worked. And I think I would love it. Director, James Gunn. Budget was 130 million.
The next one we talked about was The Fifth Element. This was not to be a live action one, but to be brought back as more of an animated package, either a movie or a series.
I think a movie would be sick.
Similar to what Arcane,
yes,
the style-wise, what they did. Bring back the voice cast for the ones that you can.
Yeah, and obviously the other ones just get voice alikes because they exist.
Right, you were like a what if, Marvel what if tried to do with the voice similes.
Brilliant. You get the guys who direct it, the guys who produce it, the guys from Arcane, and all of them, bring them back.
$100 million.
Because we want this to be beautiful.
If you're gonna do it, make it look as good as possible.
Absolutely,
base it on the Mobius concept art.
Dude, you could look really exactly like that.
Yeah.
I want all these films, by the way. I want them all.
Right.
Like,
next up was a random
one. We're both fans of this. I know it's kind of an odd one. Sky High from Disney a couple years ago. 2005, I think it was, something like that.
All right. This was another one where we said just bring back everyone you can bring back. They're all like bigger stars now.
Their kids are going to school. Because this could be this is a family film. This is a family film.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Even the original was about being the legacy characters.
Yes. Oh, yeah. So now the legacy of the legacies.
Right. Exactly. Just keep it going.
Sick.
And that one we threw $90 million at it. Sort of modest budget.
It's good. Doesn't need too much because again, it's like it's visual effects heavy, but doesn't have to be high end. It could just be, again, kind of Disneyfied. Doesn't have to be amazing.
Maybe a bit low-hanging fruit, but we threw John Watts at it because has experience doing the high schoolers with powers type stories.
He does a great job.
And he does a good job at it.
Great job there, so I'll watch that.
I don't even remember which one of us brought Sky High to the table. Is that one of yours?
We kind of both agreed on that prior to it.
Right. That's why I don't remember.
Yeah. Because both of us were like, I mean, it's oddly enough the fact that I know anybody that likes that movie or even knows that movie.
Right.
Probably people watching is like, Sky High is a thing? That doesn't sound real. There was another one.
It's probably on Disney Plus.
It is on Disney Plus.
If anybody wants to go through and rewatch that one.
You got Disney Plus? Go check it out.
It's worth it.
It's great. Next one. You brought this one.
I was a fan of this one as a kid. It was definitely one that I went back to quite a bit. It was,
I don't VHS.
Robert Townsend's Meteor Man. Now I say you could totally sequelize this. Just bring in a bunch of new people. I say, have Michael B. Jordan maybe as the new Meteor Man, maybe the son of Robert Townsend's character.
Legacies.
I believe he had kids in that movie.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, why not?
I think something like that, directed by Ryan Coogler, maybe bring as many of the big established people of color actors that could really round that out. And you don't have to just have it be black people, but make it be a representation of
the world
that area is like, of New York City, and what that's like now in 2020.
We gave this one an Ant-Man budget of 130 mil because we want this to look nice.
Right, and that's something's going to be fairly effects heavy. We kept that in mind.
Yeah.
Next up on the docket,
the next one,
Surf Ninja.
I gotta say, when we first said it, it was a joke, right? As in, like, we enjoy this. We don't know who else would enjoy this. But then once we started, like, fleshing it out more, like, once we got the director, and I was like, oh, I'm hyped as shit.
Yeah, Stephen Chow would get people interested in the Surf Ninjas reboot / sequel, bringing in new cast and the original cast. I feel like you could bring back Ernie Reyes, have him play the older, wizened. He had like an uncle in the first one.
This would be a better Dragon Ball movie than Dragon Ball.
Oh man, could you imagine them adding those kinds of concepts of now they're like
Why
higher
not?
powered beings?
Why not?
That would be interesting. Yeah, why not? Especially if it's Stephen Chow. You do
Yeah.
something crazy. You
Ma-
introduce wire food. They didn't have any of that in the
Make it
OG.
wacky. I
Yeah,
mean,
man.
actually take it to the next level. Be it fun. Oh my gosh, I want that one. 50 mil.
This
We gave
one,
it 50
this
mil.
that one would be, I think, one that like nobody would be looking for but us. But I would 1,000% be there.
Oh, no one would be looking for? If they saw the trailer, they'll want to watch it.
Right. I don't know if
It's
it's gonna make people
yeah,
go
yeah.
back to the
No, no, no,
OG,
no, no.
but
But it at this point, it doesn't. It almost doesn't matter. Like if you're curious about it, it exists. But this is the one where it's going to be a sequel where it definitely follows through the first one, but it's not necessary to go back.
and I would say probably one of my favorite Rob Schneider anythings is his character in that one.
Rob Schneider's difficult
Iggy
in a
with
lot of
his
things. Yeah.
Iggy with his psychic powers.
Think
What
his
if
psychic
what
ability
if
like be real for a moment and did not for any other time.
Oh man.
That was so random. I love that. I love it.
This one was an out of the box one as well, but we had talked about it like kind of before
Yeah.
we came up with the full
Yeah,
idea
yeah.
what we were going to do for
Yeah.
this. Was I was saying bringing back Tom Hanks and doing a sequel to Big where it's sort of the reverse now and he's older and wants to flip it and what I want to be young again. He wishes on the same Coney Island genie machine thing. And then you get to flip the story and I think you call it Little and you bring in Taika Waititi was I think the one we
Yeah, because he
decided on
works great
director.
with kids,
Right.
like kid actors and stuff. It'll be a
And
really
he can have
heartfelt
that
story.
heart.
Oh,
Exactly. He could do the Pixar thing where they pull at your heartstrings
but be funny.
and be funny at the same
Yeah.
time. We said $30 million
30
for that
million.
because I can't imagine a lot of
No,
effects. Or
It's
anything.
it wouldn't
could
be
really do
effects
that
heavy,
as
but
almost
you could
any
do it
film.
like I'd imagine a lot of the budget would be to set pieces because like you'd have to
Right,
like rent out, depending where you'd have to block off different areas and yeah,
Right.
who knows? Like I'd imagine music rights too. That's something that's
Right.
we're going to talk about later, or another film later on where the budget's high because of the music.
I
But
wonder what the updated version of the piano dance would be for that thing. Like some crazy version of DDR or something.
like virtual reality type deal.
Right.
Yeah. But because he's an adult, he's like, as a kid in a kid's body, like, what is like? He's not used to it, and obviously other
Right.
kids are like,
He's terrible at
it's
kid
like
things.
you
That'd
act
be
like an
funny.
old man, dude. This movie's
That
dope.
would be clown.
This movie's dope. Next one,
Next one up was Roger Rabbit.
yeah, this one.
$80 million budget.
80 million because it's you got to cross animation and live action. We're not exactly sure what the budget like. We're thinking what is a modern film that has that whole crossover thing, and it's Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers is coming out in Disney Plus, but we don't know what the budget is for that. So we're like,
We couldn't find an accurate
No.
budget of what that would be like. I think we threw 80 at it because we were trying to aim for something
good.
something good where it's still gonna look good. And we threw, obviously you can't bring Bob Hoskins back, so
But we also think it's another detective. Like he could have gone to
right,
another
you got to go
town.
like
Yeah.
a noir feel. So we threw Tom Hardy at it.
He'd kill
and
it.
Brad Bird,
Brad
at
Bird,
it,
yeah.
director, because he's someone who can handle live action and animation quite well.
I think this would be a banger.
It would be sick. I would love to see that.
Next
The
one,
Goonies.
Goonies.
This one I don't remember. We talked about other directors, but we landed
Sandberg.
on Spielberg.
We said
Who
afterwards,
was
David S. Sandberg. He's like
And what else did he do?
he did Shazam
Right.
because he knows how to work with kids. Because we forgot to edit it down, but
Right.
I was right. Like David S. Sandberg because he wouldn't be too expensive. Like you get probably Spielberg to produce this. I mean, he's gonna produce
Right.
it. It's his property.
Right.
But David F. Sandberg could probably handle this because the elements of Goonies it is pretty scary for kids, but it's for kids. It's a family
Right.
film that involves kids. This would almost be perfect. Like if you see how he worked, like he was a horror director, but he's also done Shazam, which again, a lot of that was kid focused, and he handled that area really well.
Yeah, he did. He balanced the tones
Yeah,
back and forth pretty good. I
and
think that's something that I would like to see him
I
bring
think the
up even
reason
more.
why I brought him back up was yesterday when we recorded was because I'm like, because I remember like Shazam was one of the films where it did feel like an old film to me.
Hmm.
Like I got that vibe where I'm like, oh, this is like it's like an early '90s, late '80s film. It just happened to be
Right.
made now.
Yeah,
So
I fully.
I
But they
think
were also going for like that kind of
yes,
big with
yeah, yeah,
superpowers kind of
yeah, yeah,
feel. That makes sense to do, and I think that would help keep it under the $70 million
oh
budget
yeah,
we
yeah,
threw at it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And Data is acting again now, so you could bring him back as one of the parents. Pretty much all of the
Oh
parents
yeah,
are,
he is back.
yeah, doing stuff. So why not bring him back?
Mm.
Um, the next up one was Last Action Hero, which I think just would be such a bonkers movie to try and do now with how different action films have become, where they're the entire pop landscape, like with the Marvel movies and DC movies, and
Also super meta.
yeah, and it was such a meta concept already.
The fact that this
To
was the fact
bring
that
them
this
back
came out
now,
in the '90s and it was so meta
hmm
already is baffling to me.
and it was before we could do, like you were saying, all the
Yeah.
de-aging stuff.
Oh,
You could do de-aged
bunch of
Arnold for
cameos.
scenes,
Yep.
bunch of
Bunch of
cameos.
cameos.
I think that one being insane. We talked about bringing in The Rock
Yeah.
to
Dwayne
be
Johnson would be
the new
the new
guy
hero.
that the kid is fascinated with, or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, and for directors, we said
E-
either Michelle Gondry was my choice,
Yeah.
and you said Edgar Wright, and
Yeah.
I think either one of them
Yeah.
would be fucking incredible for that story.
Either one
So
of them would knock this shit out.
yeah, I think yeah, that's one where I was like Edgar Wright. We was one of the ones I almost was like, I don't know, I could see him more on Big Trouble in Little China because he's so good at the martial arts part of it, with like Scott Pilgrim and At the World's End. But Last Action Hero would also benefit from that action. Michel Gondry, I was just thinking of how he could do mind bending
Oh,
visuals
Michelle
as
Gondry
far
did
as
the Green Hornet. Yeah,
yeah. Hmm.
that was great.
I still haven't fully seen the Green Hornet
You know
all the
what
way.
took me out of
Really
that?
like it. Seth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was the weirdest possible choice for that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I get being an everyman.
Even to go for the like doofy version of it,
Yeah,
I could more imagine like what's the Sean Austin or something with the dude from um Stifler.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Sean Austin is
Can't
not
think of
him.
his. That's not Sean Austin,
Sean
but I
William
can't think
Scott,
of his.
right?
There you go, Sean William Scott.
Dude, he
Sean
would have.
Austin. Who's Sean Austin again? He's an X-Man or something.
Sean Austin?
Yeah, who's that again? I think that's another actor, but I can't like put it together in my head. Is he one of the guys from The Hobbit or something?
It's Sean Astin, by the way, and it's
Sean
from.
Austin. There you go. Right. We'll get back to him in a little
Yeah.
bit.
No, but yeah, Sean William Scott would have been so much better.
All right. I think he could play the same kind of
Yes.
like I'm kind of doofy, but he could do
Believable
that
as
but
heroic
now
as
I'm
well.
a superhero
Yeah.
as well.
Oh my, dude, that film would have been so different. You know what? Our other topic that we're gonna do, alternates,
Yeah. Oh, variants. That'd be a
variants.
good.
That's
that'd
the
be a good
variant
one.
right there.
That's an interesting one.
And that one is just
Interesting one.
that was just a single cast switch up,
Yep.
basically. Wow, that would have made a difference. All right.
And the last one on our list was The Last Dragon, with $100 million budget.
Oh, by the way,
directed by the RZA.
the budget for Last Action here was, did we say 200
200
million?
million.
Yeah,
That was the most expensive
Yeah, yeah.
one.
Of
We
the
decided
list.
up top, let's pick the most expensive one first because that's gonna have all the cameos and shit.
Cameos, visual effects, actors.
All the de-aging
Yeah,
shit.
yeah, all that. You want this to look amazing, and it will
Yeah.
with 200 million.
And they got to be jumping from movie to movie.
Yeah,
That's gonna be
yeah,
expensive
yeah.
on its own. But yeah, The Last Dragon, directed by RZA, $100 million budget. We were on cast. We never like fully picked someone. I think I jokingly said bring in Jaden Smith or
Right,
something.
but then we were like, it's an unknown because there's tons
Yeah.
of
exactly. And the
Tons of
first one
actors you can
works
give an
with
opportunity to.
unknowns.
Yeah. You
My only
you get
issue
whoever
is
back though.
how the fuck do you get a new
Don't
show enough
I don't
level
know.
villain, someone with that level
We
of
were saying a
charisma?
wrestler.
Right. Somebody whose job it is to have that kind of charisma, like Big E or
Oh,
something like
dude,
that.
I actually thought Big E yesterday. I didn't say it, but I was like, I think Big E could actually knock this out.
Probably because he's huge. He's got that
And
booming kind of
he's like
personality.
a cartoon.
Right, exactly. And he's huge. He'd be imposing to whoever you pick, especially if you pick a young guy.
I was like, Terry Crews might be too old.
Yeah, and I think it automatically
Yeah,
makes it like a parody
exactly.
if it's
Whereas
Terry Crews.
Big E, you'd believe that's just him.
Right. I think he could play a
Yeah,
serious
I think he
character
can too.
who's got that level of
Yeah,
charisma.
I think so.
So that was our original 10
With RZA directing
with
and
RZA
doing the
directing.
soundtrack for that. Yeah, we gave 100 million because soundtrack.
So what are the movies that you've lined up to take one of these spots? We've got these 10 spots still. That retains.
Yeah.
But we decided if we're going to record this again, let's come up with some ideas for some films that might be able to take one of these slots. So what do you have? What's your first one?
Monster Squad.
Fucking great choice. Great choice. I would love to see it. I don't know if that one needs to be a sequel in my brain.
That
I
one
feel
doesn't
like if you do a new
necessarily.
one, you can
Yeah.
interpret new versions of the monsters.
That's why I was a little
but
iffy
still.
on it, because I'm
Yeah.
like, a sequel could work. To me, in my head, it would be sort of a soft reboot.
Right.
Where it is a sequel, you'll have one or two characters who've already experienced this from the previous one,
Right.
and that's really
Where you
why I
could
made
just
it.
say,
Yes,
this did happen.
yes, that's basically it. Like it's a soft reboot in a way, but it's a sequel because what happened, and either a few of the guys or even one of the guys from the previous one is here to be like, oh, I know what this is about.
Right.
I know, or like he could be a kooky one where it's like, no, it really happened. They're like, whatever, old man.
Right. Yeah, sure, man. Werewolves
Yeah,
have nards.
all
or
right,
whatever.
yeah, all that type of stuff. This would be wicked.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. I don't know. I'm kind of back and forth on if that's better as a reboot or a sequel.
That
but,
was my thing. That's why I'm like, I threw it there because it's the first one that popped into my mind, and I'm like, the thing is, I could take this either way.
All right. Well, the first one I'll throw at you is
Sure.
one that I actually have brought up to you before.
That we forgot. That you forgot.
Yeah, that I forgot, and I don't remember fully what I remember. We talked about it, but I don't remember what we landed on. But the first one is Encino Man.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I totally spaced out that we even mentioned this one on a couple of previous conversations ago.
Yeah, we were talking about
Yep.
what bringing back Pauly Shore, bringing back Brendan Fraser,
And
where he's
Sean
like-
Astin.
Yeah, and Sean Astin. That's why I said we'll talk about him in a second.
But it's their kid.
I just
It's
think
like
that it's their kid. Yeah, the kid of the two cave people at the end of that movie.
this would be so weird when you think about it.
1,000%.
Because
1,000%.
while they are, Cro-Magnon men and women,
Mm-hmm.
of the past, they're not exactly evolved like humans have evolved to now.
Right.
So their kid would technically still be a caveman.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Is even more interestingly, maybe don't have it so they sexed and made a kid. Have it so they found a frozen kid in their yard, just
dude,
like the first movie.
I love it because it's revisiting. It's revisiting something that already happened.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if they already had a kid, but then they find
Because it's
kid.
unclear. They don't say what their connection was or if they had children. Don't show.
'Cause the
But I
thing is,
think
'cause
just
check
if
it.
they find any cave kid,
Right.
they're going to be the ones to take care of it. It
But
doesn't
see,
have to be there.
if they already had a kid and then they found
Mm-hmm.
a cave kid, that's two contrasting, technically cave people. One that was born of modern, the other one found. So he'd have to adapt. The kid would have to basically be a brother.
Right. So maybe they have a kid.
Yeah, that's what I
and
mean.
the kid
yeah.
discovers the frozen kid.
I love
and
this.
he has to take
Dude,
him to school.
I want this. What is it taking off that list?
The first one that to me has the biggest potential to take off is probably either Sky High or Surf Ninjas.
Honestly, I love Surf Ninjas so much right now because of Stephen Chow.
Yeah, I do too.
So I'm gonna say Sky High. The reason why I say Sky High though
Yeah.
We already have superhero movies, and they're killing it. And they're also family films, though. You know what I mean? Like they are definitely not for kids, but kids can still enjoy them.
Right.
We don't have to do a film where it's just dedicated to kids. And I know Netflix did like a couple of those ones already. Like Robert Rodriguez recently made that superhero movies for kids on Netflix, and it's got like Pedro Pascal in that. Yeah, exactly. You don't know because it doesn't matter.
Right.
You know what I mean? I was watching it with my nephew, and I was like, I walked out because I'm like, oh, this isn't for me. I think he changed the channel because he didn't care either.
Right.
Remove.
Do you think you could still do Encino Man at the $90 million budget?
I think so.
Okay.
This is not effects heavy at all, dude.
Right.
I mean, you could actually have better effects because of it.
And you could probably reduce this 90 million.
Oh,
and give it to
hell
something
yeah.
else that might need
Hell yeah. I mean, write 90 and then write like a dash just to say maybe like, what it could be, and then that's a good one.
Do that one for like 50.
50. Oh my gosh, I want this one. Who directs it though?
Oh man. Jon Favreau?
Whoo! Do it. He's a big name right now.
He is, but
he would do a bang up job with this.
Who else would you get other than him? Maybe like Judd Apatow or somebody where you want it to have like comedy, but
I think Thing is good. Favreau's great.
I don't know how to spell it, but we'll figure it. Favreau.
That's a good one, dude.
All right, so what is your next up to try and take a slot?
This one was weird to me. I came up when I'm like, can it Hook?
I don't know how you.
I know it's tricky, but do it where it's about the son. Obviously, it's a legacy film. His dad's passed along. It's kind of like remembering in a way.
Do you bring that dude back?
You'd recast him.
Nerd kid.
You'd recast him. You'd recast. I don't think he's acting anymore. It'd be the same character. It'd be the same character though.
Right.
But Anthony Hopkins. Not Anthony Hopkins. What's his name? What is his name? Dustin Hoffman. We're fucking up with names today. I love it. Dustin Hoffman could still be Hook.
True. He was always a great Hook. Something about doing any Robin
I know.
Williams
That's why it was tough. I know. That's why I'm like, it'd be more of like in memoriam in a sense.
Right.
But it's not.
You couldn't bring like Rufio back. He's
dead.
Died and he's crusty.
Yeah.
Like, who do you bring back to really seal that it's the same? Like Julia Roberts,
again,
crusty Tinkerbell?
Other than Hoffman, like an older Hook,
right?
Because it's still called Hook.
But he lives in Neverland. He shouldn't.
That's
age.
true.
Do you de-age him?
Maybe. I mean, he has a son that acts that looks sort of like him, and that's weird though.
Really?
Yeah, he does. He does. It looks like him. It's bizarre.
Weird.
Yeah. But that just came to me because I'm like, oh man, I don't know. It's tricky.
We'll
but
keep it down there just in case. We'll see what else we got. Yep. Next on mine was
your list is probably better, by the way.
Original Ninja Turtles.
Ooh, I didn't consider this.
Yeah, like do
a direct
with,
sequel,
like Terminator and stuff, and just sequelize the original Ninja Turtles. None of the other shit happened.
Would it take place right after that in the same period of time?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can't do like one now.
Right, like you maybe could, but they're
no longer teenage.
Right, they wouldn't be teenagers anymore is the big thing, and I don't think that's a thing where you can just immediately legacy the Ninja Turtles.
Oh,
so I feel like doing it where, it's still a period film. Maybe it takes place in the mid '90s or something.
Okay.
It's like
what would you do about April?
After.
What would you do about April and Casey?
I think you'd recast probably.
You'd have to recast
because I'd
them.
want them to also update the looks. Like, don't just bring back the animatronics.
Yeah, no.
Do it like Where the Wild Things Are style, where it's suits with CG.
Why has no one done that still?
I think they're just afraid of the suit thing, man. But it's the only thing that makes any practical sense to me. If you want to, if you want to film them have actual fights, it's the only way that it makes any sense.
Like awesomely animated faces,
Mm-hmm.
practical suits, which you'd probably enhance with CG anyways.
Yeah.
But let them be. Yeah, I'm down. What is it kicking off?
I mean, probably Surf Ninjas, right?
Aww. Yeah.
Let's put it next to Surf Ninjas,
Yeah.
and then we can decide when we get through the list.
Okay. Your list, by the way, is probably going to be it's way stronger than mine. Like, way stronger than mine. Monster Squad was a good one for me. But that one, I think, is like a Guyver, where it's a reboot. But then, no, I like the sequel idea for that too, though. I don't know. That one, I can go either way, but I want to watch that.
Okay.
I want to watch that.
Okay, next on your list?
It'd be odd, but also interesting. They Live. I know. Roddy's gone. Roddy Piper's gone. But
Keith David's still around.
Keith David's still alive.
And I think there's a lot of commentary to be said today.
That's why I mainly said, I'm like, the commentary for today would be insanity.
The consumerism thing and everybody in their phones.
Insanity.
I think that it could be a really cool idea. But I think that one might be another one where you just
a reboot.
You don't
I
have
know.
to sequelize it.
I
just
know.
do it, modernize it.
And that's why a lot of the things I had, I'm like, they could work as sequels, but they could also work as reboots. That's kind of the problem with the list that I came up with. Yeah.
Could kind of.
Although Encino Man, that sequel, killer. Love that. Love it.
On my list was Michael Jai White Spawn.
You want a sequel?
Yeah, bring him back. He's Al Simmons still.
Yep.
You can just have time has been going forward. He's still the soldier of hell.
Oh, wow. He's still working for fucking Malebolgia, yeah.
You can have it so that plenty of battles have happened, but now you could move forward and backward through time. I say, like, give us a more comic accurate look as far as his suit, like the striking black and white and
contrast,
chains, make the like red leather velvet fucking straps and boots and shit, and
like you can almost like symbiote kind of like it, where instead of like armor, it's kind of because I'd love to see. I don't think Venom did that, where it looks like his shit's moving constantly,
shifting.
Because to me, that would be so cool. Where it's just like it's subtle, but you could see things moving, like it's alive.
That's how I always imagined.
That's how I thought too. Carnage more so.
I haven't seen that one.
Carnage more so because don't watch it. Carnage more so because he's just red and black. No, he's shifted. But put it this way, if it did, you didn't notice it.
Right.
Also, Carnage was a mess. He was a giant. It made no sense. Also, like there was somewhere like I don't know if Carnage can do this. I know it's off topic. I don't know if Carnage can do this. Where if you shoot at if you throw a spear at Carnage, can he like open up and like let the spear go through, and the body underneath technically doesn't exist?
It seemed like in the movie he just becomes one with the symbiote.
Because that's what it was. That's why I was asking. Because in my head, reading the comics, I always thought it's just encompassing you. And if you get stabbed, the symbiote will heal whatever's underneath. But it's not like, whoops, I'm going to make a hole. And it's going to go through like a cartoon. Yeah, okay. Because that was like, all right. Whatever. Because when he morphed into his face, it literally just morphed into it. I was like, as soon as I saw it, I was like,
right.
Your shit.
Hopefully they could avoid those trappings with the modern day Spawn. I just think stuff like the cape could look so much cooler now than it did at the time. Even shit like Violator could look so much cooler and more threatening now.
Who's gonna direct it?
Guillermo del Toro.
Ooh, don't do that. What's it kicking off?
I don't know, man. I came up with a list of things I thought could compete. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Yours is way more appropriate. I just came up with films I like that I would like seeing sequels to, or a reboot.
Goonies? Would you rather see the new Spawn than a new Goonies?
I think I would.
All right, let's put it next to Goonies then.
Put it next to Goonies. Man, what would the budget be though? Actually, like you don't need a crazy budget.
Maybe like 70 million,
Yeah.
like what they threw at Deadpool. Like it's gonna have some effects. It's gonna have an animated, slightly suit, you know. But I really feel like you could do that one for a modest budget. Just get a real director on it. And
Yeah. Not Todd McFarlane. Yeah. I mean, thanks for creating him, Todd, but have you ever directed anything?
All right. Next on your list,
Toxic Avenger. Sequel to the first film.
Okay. I don't know if the new one's a sequel, but I heard they are doing a new Toxic Avenger.
They've done 4 of them. But I'm saying...
But I heard they're doing like a new one with a budget.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't hear this.
I think it's a reimagining though.
No, I want a sequel that takes place, period piece sequel. That takes place right after the first one.
That is definitely one I would watch. Would you rather watch that than Del Toro Spawn?
No.
Would you rather watch that than any of the ones we have listed? That's a better question.
That's why I was looking at the list and I'm like, I would want to watch that, but to me that's more of an addition as opposed to kicking off the 10.
Right.
That's my problem with my list. I'd love them all, but almost not. I don't think it could take place. And the ones that we could take place, we already removed.
Right.
So I don't know. Like I'd rather see. Wait, did you update that one?
Which one?
Did you update the Surf Ninjas one?
Yeah, I wrote Ninja Turtles next to it.
Okay, it hasn't updated on mine.
It's like the third column next to it.
Okay, I'm dumb. Okay, that's where it was. Yeah. I don't know.
So you'd rather see Toxic Avenger than Ninja Turtles?
No. That's my thing. Although I don't know. Because with Ninja Turtles, I'll be honest. A sequel's great. A reboot that's actually phenomenal would be better for me.
I agree. I think it's because
we can still take those effects. We can still take the mocap face and the suit body, but which is all
great. I think that would be sick. It's just that I think because the first one is the only one that has gotten the tone right.
I know.
I just say if that is the sweet spot, then start there.
But you've got a point there, and that's why it's great because that makes sense. But because if it's a sequel, you can acknowledge what has happened there, as opposed to revisiting that. But if it's a reboot, you can eventually lead to that while looking at the old one for the tone.
Exactly.
That's why I think with Turtles,
both versions could work.
Right.
That's why it's in the maybe right now.
Yeah. That's why I prefer with that one being a reboot as opposed to a sequel. But will the Toxic Avenger kick off any of these ones? I don't know, man. I love this list.
All right, what's next on yours now?
The last one I had. Well, I said the previous one. You have 2 more, or no?
I've got 3 more.
Okay, I've got 1 more, so I'll say it.
Okay.
This one could be so low budget. I don't even know if you've seen this film. 6 String Samurai.
Was that one that Tarantino produced?
I don't know, but it's like post-apocalyptic. Like the thing is, the reason why I say sequel, you don't have to bring anybody back from the cast because it's a bit old, but it's about the character. I love the world. It's like a post-apocalyptic type rock world where he's a samurai with a guitar, and it's a musical.
Okay.
That's why I'm like, I would just love to see if more films like this. That's why I threw it there.
Is that another one that would maybe just get remade rather than reboot?
That's why I was like, it could work. It would probably work. I'll be honest. It probably works better as a reboot because that way you can start fresh.
Right.
But I want more of that. That's why my list is. I want more of these. That's all. It wasn't. And that one, no one. I would just like the whole. It's a music fighting post-apocalyptic. I'm like, this is kind of. You know how like Big Trouble Little China, Fifth Element has a lot of elements thrown into it, and it works.
Right. It's its own
to me,
thing.
this is its own thing, and I'm like, I want more films where it's just its own thing. It's not trying to do what anybody else. It's taking things from other things, and it's just making its own. I'm like, I just want more of that.
Yeah.
It's an original
agree.
idea too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my list. That's my 5.
All right. Well, I'll kick these last
Yeah.
3 rapid fire, and you can just tell me what you think of all 3 of them. Okay. So the next one I had was Street Fighter, the animated movie.
Damn, that's good.
To me, it's still the best Street Fighter movie,
100%.
and if they made it with like a new like studio that knows what they're doing, like a Trigger or something like this, where they're gonna really make the movement look Banana Town,
TMS.
connect it to those original things, and finally, like what we talked about in the episode we didn't use, make the tournament movie
Yeah.
that they've still never made for Street Fighter. What they kind of tried to do with Street Fighter Alpha. this
Yeah,
animated
that
movie.
was the only one
movie
that
was
featured
so
a tournament.
weird. And it was, but they also clouded it with the
Yeah.
like, "Are you my brother?
Yeah.
Let's be brother."
And he's
that
like,
thing was
he's
so,
an artificial intelligent created, and it became that scientist
random.
guy who turned. It looked like Blanca, Akuma. It was
right.
weird,
It's
yeah.
so weird and random.
Great animation,
but
though. I love the style of that one.
There was cool animation. I
Yeah.
loved the visuals, but
Story
I still think the animated Street Fighter movie
is the best.
Is the best one, and a proper sequel to that I think would be sick. And just call it Street Fighter 3 and and bring in that cast of characters.
I want that. Do I want it more than any of these? No. I want that, though.
No?
I want that so much. But I'm looking at the animated ones here. Fifth Element, that one I want more than
That one's
anything.
key. That one's a keeper,
Yeah.
obviously.
That's the thing. I'm looking at the list. I don't know what that one would take place. Maybe the Roger Rabbit?
Maybe.
I like Roger Rabbit. I'd love to see more adventures of him. But
it is different not having Bob Hoskins.
That's why. Whereas this one, it's animation, baby.
How about my next option?
Okay.
Keanu Reeves' Constantine.
Ooh, sequel.
Yeah.
Director?
I already used Del Toro, but
You
I feel like
did.
he'd be a good one for that. Maybe even like Scott Derrickson, dude who did Doctor Strange. Like somebody who's gonna
Do the horror up?
do the horror meets magic kind of thing. They could bring Tilda Swinton back, speaking of Doctor Strange. They had the coolest, to me, depiction of the devil in any fucking comic book medium.
That was the coolest devil.
I love
Where
he
you
was
were
so
afraid of him still, though.
Yeah, he was a weirdo. He seemed
Yeah.
like a rich weirdo. He was in a white suit with like oily feet.
Do you know what's crazy?
Super cool.
That would have probably made a cool Joker.
I think we've talked about this on a
Maybe.
previous episode because that has been my take on that for so fucking many years. I've always thought that would be such a sick version of the Joker.
Do you think that's kind of like what they were trying to go for with Jared Leto? They should have if they did.
I remember. Actually, you know what? I bet you if you go back and watch the Suicide Squad review that we did, I think that's when I talked about
Maybe.
the dude from Constantine should
Maybe.
have been the Joker.
Maybe.
Because I just feel like the Jared Leto's version was like 1920s gangster meets Die Antwoord, and it was so fucking wrong.
But yeah,
but-
ooh, Constantine.
You can bring everybody back. Rachel Weisz still gangster.
Jeez.
Keanu still gangster.
Yeah.
Tilda Swinton still gangster. Gavin Rossdale, he ain't doing shit, but I'm sure he could participate. You can bring Shia LaBeouf back as the Angel. He's big news now. Fucking Jaimin Hansu has been in every comic book thing ever now. He's fucking Shazam. Bring him back.
That's true. What would it take place though?
Where would it take place?
No, as in like, if you.
What
what were the
would
last
it
two
take
that you said? Constantine.
Constantine and Street Fighter animated movie.
See, Street Fighter animated. I want it. I don't think you could take. Maybe Roger Rabbit.
I don't think you could even take Constantine. I think I'd rather see Constantine than
I
Street
think so
Fighter
too.
animated.
Yeah, that's the thing. What would you take it though? Roger Rabbit.
Probably either Roger Rabbit or Goonies, just because I liked those movies, but I don't have still that much attachment.
Well, with Goonies, we were at Spawn. Do you want Spawn more than Constantine?
I don't know. I really love them both.
I do too. And they, the thing about this is they're two very different things.
They are, but they're both comic book properties. So maybe that's something to keep in mind.
If we take Roger Rabbit
Uh-huh.
and put Constantine there, because we still got leftover budget from Encino Man.
Okay.
Which I think is so good.
All right, well, I'll say my last one then real quick, and then we can nail it down.
Yeah, okay.
My last idea was a sequel to Leon the Professional.
Dude! I thought about that this morning.
I
thought about that.
Portman back.
Dude, I was gonna write on my list, but I'm like, I think Roy's gonna write this down.
All right.
That's why I was like, I'm not gonna bother with this one because I'm like, a sequel to that would be sick.
Yeah, dude. I think Natalie Portman coming back and playing the kind of trained hitman who's got to maybe train up someone else or has to get back in the game for some reason. I don't know what the driving thing would be, but I feel like she's a strong enough actress and that property was strong enough to where bringing her back as an adult would be enough on its own.
All these films these days,
Matilda the Professional.
All these films these days where it's like a female lead assassin or a fighter.
Right.
This should have been it.
Yep.
It's already been established decades ago.
Yep.
What would it take place? Your list is killer, but I knew this. I knew you were gonna add this one. Like I 100% knew. I was eating breakfast, and I'm like, when you said, "Oh, come up with movies," I was like, he's probably gonna say Leon.
Yeah.
Because that film is sick, and it would make it'd make more sense. It makes sense too. It's another Luc Besson film. We've got Fifth Element up here, and now we got. I wouldn't get him to do it. I would not get him to do it.
No, I think it'd be too risky.
Who would you get to do it though?
Maybe one of the John Wick dudes. But those movies are so much more action focused and less character focused that I don't know. I'd have to really think about that one. But yeah, that was my.
Damn, your list killed it.
But it's still, I don't know which ones these take.
Well, I think of the Turtles and Surf Ninjas. I say Surf Ninjas because Turtles I want to reboot. Personally. Your idea is dope because it makes sense, but the thing is with a reboot, they could look at that first thing and go, what made this amazing? Let's take those out. Let's take those out.
Does Constantine or Leon beat Surf Ninjas then?
I'm so attached to Surf Ninjas because to me that would be so fun. And right now on the list, that is the one that would just be like a living cartoon in a way. I want that more than Roger Rabbit, oddly enough, which is a cartoon.
All right.
I want Surf Ninjas personally in there still.
Okay.
Just because it's Steven Chow, he'd kill it.
Do we want Leon or Constantine more than Goonies?
Yes.
Do we want Leon or Constantine more than Roger Rabbit?
I think so, man. Like Roger Rabbit can hold, like any of these films can hold on their own. You know what I mean? As a solo film, but just seeing Matilda.
Do you want Matilda or Constantine more than a Del Toro Spawn?
Del Toro Spawn sounds so good. Think about what he did with Hellboy.
All right.
And all of his other,
all the practical effects.
Pan's Labyrinth.
Really sick.
That one, I'm sorry. I think Del Toro's Spawn is so good. His version of hell would be terrifying.
All right, so we're switching in Constantine or Matilda for Roger Rabbit.
Yeah.
Which one?
Oh, I don't know. Which one would require less of a budget?
Right, because right now, we have $80 million that we already threw towards Roger Rabbit, and we have another 40 that we're chopping off of Encino Man.
That's true. So that could be
you could
120.
make a really,
Really
you could
dope
make
spawn.
a really high budget, a really sick Spawn, or a really sick Constantine.
See, those two to me, Spawn and Constantine, while they're two very different,
Right.
they're
They do
both
kind of eat at each other.
in a way. Which
'Cause
one
they're
do I want
dark
to?
heroes.
Yeah, which one do I? I love the world that Spawn, that Constantine already built, but I want to see what else they would do in the Spawn universe. That's kind of
Right.
the
And I think
reason.
you could bring Al Simmons back. I mean, you
Yeah.
could bring Michael Jai White back. He could still bang, I bet.
Yes, easily.
Um,
And all the other characters that you like, other hell spawns and shit, their versions of the angels. We didn't really get to see any of that. I want to see
Right.
that. Whereas we
Yeah.
we definitely saw what the angels were like in Constantine. They're cool, but that's
they are competing in
that
a
is-
similar field.
yeah,
They're both
that's-
like hell heroes.
yeah, it's anti-heroes in the sense
yeah.
that have the devil and angels involved. It's really bizarre how both of these ones are kind of competing for a cartoon slot, technically. But
Well, the other slot was Goonies.
right, we took that one, right?
Well, we have Spawn next to it, but we
Okay.
haven't decided. So is Spawn and Constantine taking Goonies and Roger Rabbit?
I'd say Goonies it can take.
Okay. Which one? Spawn?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll put in Spawn officially has Goonies slot.
How do you feel about the Roger Rabbit? Do you reckon that could take place? That could be replaced with Constantine?
I would rather see a Constantine
Then
than
put
a new
Constantine.
Roger Rabbit, but
Put
I don't know
Constantine.
that I speak for the masses.
Well,
but it is
this is
it's
our
1,000 million.
It's our 1,000 million. We do what we want with our 1,000 million. And while Roger Rabbit would be sick, I love the original one, and that one will still do. With Constantine, I want to see more.
And who did we say directing?
Constantine?
Yeah,
Who directed
Scott
the?
Derrickson.
Yeah. Yeah.
And is Leon taking anybody's spots? Would you rather see Leon than Surf Ninjas?
No.
Okay. Would
Surf
you
Ninjas
rather
to me
see-
is locked because
That's a locked one.
I want to see Stephen Chow Surf Ninjas so bad.
Would you rather see Leon than Encino Man?
The idea of Cena Man is so fucking good to me right now, dude. A Favreau in Cena Man with a kid, them finding a new, like, it's basically a repeat of the first one, but not because it takes place now,
Yep.
and our knowledge of the past.
Yep.
I want that film. I want all these films. I don't know what it can.
Does
take
Leon not make the cut then?
I don't
I don't know
know.
if any of the other ones can go.
That's my thing. Like, I love all of these ones. I love all the ones that we even cut. In all honesty, that's the problem. They were there they made the 10 for a reason.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
So I don't know. I don't know what else can shift. Are we happy with this 10?
I like this 10. I like this 10 a
Alright.
lot. Like the fact that, but that Leon sequel sounds so good. But here's the thing. The idea sounds good.
Right.
We don't know what the story's about. Whereas in Cinema, we kind of know what the story's about.
We plotted that.
Yeah,
one
yeah. I love that one. I love that one. Constantine, it's just whatever. The world is already so established.
out. Right.
With Leon, I want to see that what the story is going to be about is a feat, is a thing.
That's definitely part of it. It'd be a
So,
selling factor.
I think I'm good with the list, man. I think we killed
All right,
it.
let me just double check the budget. Make
Yeah.
sure we're good. 100,
We banged this episode out. So good.
yeah, 50 plus.
Yeah, when you said that, I was like, your list was fire.
50 plus 30 plus 90 plus 90 plus
Yeah.
200. It seems like we have 30 million left over we've not used.
You could split it, throw it into Spawn and Constantine.
Give them an even 100 million.
Yeah.
Okay.
Make them shits look good. gooder.
Even gooder. And then we'll throw the last 10 at big.
Because they deserve it.
All right, there's our budget. Presumably, you guys will be able to see this list
and hear it.
Trust me, we worked for almost 3 hours putting this list together for you.
Oh, it's not over for me yet. I got to do the editing for this. I'm not going to go crazy with the editing. I'm just going to do the pictures. The pictures.
Right,
and the
that's
names
totally
and stuff.
fine. I don't think you need to go banana town.
It would have been amazing.
It's going to be much quicker. I think we knocked this out in just about an hour.
Under 50, just above 50 minutes, which is perfect.
All right.
Perfect.
All right.
What a sweet. I want all this. 1,000 million, baby.
1,000 million.
1,000 million. Dude, if we could, we gotta make at least 5 of these happen.
Right. I think we should use like fake posters for a couple of these or something.
That'd be amazing.
Right. All right. Well, I think that wraps it up. So until the next one, guys, stay chipper, chaps.
Stay chipper.